To put it really simple, it's a war between three races. The Helios, Asmodeans, and Balar. The first two are PC races, and the third are an NPC race. First, there was a really omnipotent god named Aion who created his race of servitors, which were the Balar, but they were very powerful, but they kind of have independent will, and in the end they didn't really obey Aion's wishes, and they kind of rebelled to Aion, and so Aion made a new race, which were the Devas. And this time, though they were less powerful individually than the Balar, the Aion gave them a sense of loyalty and worship towards himself, so that they would obey him in all matters. So kind of they had the concept of a religion centered on Aion, the most, the central god of that world. So in the past, the Devas fought with the Balar, and they expelled them from the main part of the world into the kind of other dimensional planes. So the Balars were kind of exiled from the world, and for a time it was very peaceful for the Devas, but then the Devas kind of split into two factions. The reason that they split into two factions was their attitude toward the Balar. One wanted to kind of stop the war, eternal war, and kind of try to make peace, but one side wanted to, fight till the end. So that's kind of why they split apart. There was an event it was kind of like a peace offering of the Balar, and they wanted to have a peace treaty, but I won't go into too many details, but there was a betrayal, and the Balar attacked the Tower of Eternity, and it split in two. So it was kind of a big catastrophe, big destruction of the world, and the tower split into two pieces. So now the world of Aion is kind of divided in two halves, and the tower itself is split in half, and one half is on the top side and one half is on the lower side. And so the Helios live on the lower side, and the Asmodeans live on the upper side. And now, because of that split of factions, they have become bitter enemies. They blame each other for the splitting of the world, and they believe that in order to survive, they must eliminate their opposing faction. So now it's kind of a three-sided war between those three races, and of course the main point of conflict is who will get to control the Tower of Aion, Tower of Eternity. And the communication between the all-powerful Aion and the Devas have kind of been cut off, and no one's really sure what happened to Aion. And all they know is that to ensure their survival, they have to protect their part of the tower and prevent it from being destroyed by their enemy factions. So that's kind of the overall setting. It's sometimes we call it kind of like story of three kingdoms, the Asian Chinese epic. So it's kind of like it's an all-out war, but also it's kind of like diplomacy and backstabbing and intrigue stuff happening between these three races, and they're always kind of looking behind their back. what's the story for an individual player is that they will be one of the leading characters of each faction. They will start out as lowly soldiers, but they will become more and more powerful, and they will realize their potential to become really godlike beings, and eventually they will become the generals of the army that fights in this three-sided war. So I think, to put it simply, it's about rising in ranks within in your nation's army to become a very distinguished military, hero within that world. I think that would be the main storyline of Aion.